Hey everyone! Before we dive in, if you love cats as much as I do, hit that subscribe button because today we're talking about something truly special. And I need to tell you about Sarah first, because her story is where this whole thing starts to make sense. Sarah was having the worst year of her life. Lost her job in March, her relationship fell apart in June, and by September, she was barely holding on. She told me later that she'd stopped making plans beyond the next day because what was the point, right? One rainy Tuesday evening, she's walking back from the grocery store, hood up, just trying to get home before she completely breaks down. And then she hears it. This tiny, desperate crying sound coming from a cardboard box near the dumpster. She almost kept walking. She told me, I had my own problems. I couldn't save anyone else when I couldn't even save myself. But something made her stop. Something made her look. Inside that soggy box was this tiny orange kitten, maybe 6 weeks old, soaking wet and shaking. Their eyes met, and Sarah said it felt like the world stopped spinning for just a second. She scooped him up, wrapped him in her jacket, and took him home. She named him Mango. That was 4 years ago, and Sarah is alive today because of that moment. Not figuratively, literally alive. Because on her darkest nights, when those thoughts came creeping in, when the weight of everything felt like too much, Mango would crawl onto her chest. He'd stare directly into her eyes with this intense focus, start purring like a motor, and it was like he was saying, "Not today. Not on my watch. We've got this." You know what's crazy? There are over 600 million cats on this planet right now. 600 million. And yet every single person with a cat believes theirs is completely unique, completely special. And here's the thing, we're all absolutely right. Because what I've learned after talking to hundreds of cat owners, after watching these relationships unfold, is that the bond between a human and their cat isn't just special. It's lightning in a bottle. It's unrepeatable. It's magic. Let me tell you something that every cat owner knows but can never quite explain to people who don't have cats. You don't adopt a cat. The cat chooses you. You might walk into a shelter thinking you're in control, thinking you're making a rational decision based on age or color or breed. And then you lock eyes with one particular cat, and that's it. Game over. Your life just changed forever, and you don't even fully understand it yet. I've heard this story 1,000 times in 1,000 different ways. I wasn't even looking for a cat. I already have 2 dogs. My apartment doesn't allow pets. I'm more of a fish person. And then, always, inevitably, but something about this one just felt right. That's not coincidence. That's not chance. That's something deeper, something we don't have words for. It's recognition. It's connection. It's 2 souls finding each other in the chaos. And speaking of chaos, can we talk about what happens after that moment? Because the first few weeks with a new cat are absolutely wild. You're learning their language, they're learning your routine, and mostly you're both just staring at each other like, so, now what? But here's where it gets beautiful. Slowly, quietly, without you even noticing it happening, this cat becomes the center of your entire universe. Your schedule revolves around feeding times. You find yourself having full conversations with them about your day. You take 500 photos of them sleeping in weird positions. You cancel plans because they are on your lap and you simply cannot disturb them. Your friends think you've lost your mind. And maybe you have. But you've also found something most people spend their whole lives searching for: pure, uncomplicated connection. There's science behind this, by the way. I'm not just being dramatic. When your cat purrs, that deep, rumbling sound that feels like a tiny earthquake in your chest, they are vibrating at a frequency between 25 and 150 Hz. You know what else operates at that exact frequency? Medical equipment designed to promote healing in bones and tissues. Your cat is literally a portable healing device that also judges your Netflix choices and knocks things off counters for fun. When that purr starts and your cat settles onto your lap, your blood pressure drops. Your cortisol levels, that's your stress hormone, they plummet. Your heart rate steadies. People have ditched anxiety medication because their cat sleeps on their chest every night. That purr is therapy you can pet. But it's more than just the purr, right? It's the routine they create. I have this friend, Marcus, who works insane hours as an ER nurse in Chicago. Lives alone in a studio apartment. Before he got his cats, Lunar and Felix, he told me he'd sometimes go entire weekends without speaking to another living being. He'd come home to an empty apartment, microwave something, stare at his phone for 3 hours, sleep, repeat. He said it felt like he was disappearing, like he was becoming invisible even to himself. Then he adopted Lunar and Felix. And suddenly, everything changed. Now he rushes home because Lunar does this thing where she spots his car from the window and starts chirping. Not meowing, chirping. Like a little bird. And Felix, without fail, knocks his keys off the counter every single morning. Marcus pretends to be annoyed, but he told me, those little routines, man. Lunar's chirp. Felix's attitude. The way they both wait by the food bowls at exactly 6:47 a.m. These tiny, predictable moments, they make life feel like life again. That's what cats do. In a world that feels increasingly chaotic and unpredictable, they create structure. They demand breakfast at 6 a.m. whether you like it or not. They insist on playtime at 9 p.m. They have nap schedules that would make a Fortune 500 CEO weep with envy. And in that routine, in that predictability, we find comfort. We find purpose. We find a reason to get up in the morning that isn't work or obligation or fear. We get up because someone needs us. Someone is waiting. And that someone happens to have 4 legs and an attitude problem. Now, let's talk about something that drives me absolutely crazy. This myth that cats aren't loyal, that they are aloof and independent and don't really care about their humans. To anyone who believes this, I say with complete respect, you've never actually known a cat. Because cat loyalty is different, yes, but it's deep. It's real. And sometimes, it's absolutely heroic. There's this famous story from Italy about a cat named Toldo whose owner passed away. Every single day for over a year, Toldo walked to the cemetery and sat by his owner's grave. Every day. Rain, snow, heat, didn't matter. That's not indifference. That's devotion that would make Hachiko proud. There are cats who've alerted families to house fires in the middle of the night. Cats who've detected carbon monoxide leaks before the detectors went off. Cats who've sensed their owner's blood sugar dropping and wouldn't stop bothering them until they ate something. There are documented cases of cats traveling hundreds of miles to find their families after getting lost. One cat in California walked over 200 miles to get back home. Took him 2 months, but he made it. This idea that cats don't care? It's not just wrong, it's offensive to every cat who's ever loved a human. Cat loyalty is quiet. It's not the bouncing, tail wagging, whole body celebration you get with dogs. It's subtler. It's in the way they follow you from room to room while pretending they are not following you. It's in how they bring you their favorite toy when you're crying, even though they usually guard that toy like it's the crown jewels. It's in the slow blink they give you, the cat kiss, as it's called, that says, I trust you completely. I feel safe with you. If you've ever earned that slow blink from a cat, you know. You just know. And let's be honest for a second, cats are absolutely ridiculous. They are elegant predators, graceful athletes, and complete idiots, all somehow existing in the same body. You'll watch your cat execute a perfect Olympic-level jump to the top of the refrigerator, land with impossible precision, look at you like they are God. And then 2 minutes later, they are attacking their own tail like it's a mortal enemy they just discovered for the first time. They'll sprint full speed across their house at 3 in the morning for absolutely no reason. They'll sit in boxes that are way too small for them, looking deeply uncomfortable but refusing to move. They'll spend 5 minutes calculating a jump, make it successfully, then immediately fall off whatever they landed on because they got distracted by a dust particle. This is the joy they bring. This unexpected, absurd comedy. You're in a serious Zoom meeting, trying to look professional, and your cat decides that exact moment is perfect for park hour across your keyboard. You buy them a $70 cat tree with multiple levels and scratching posts, and they sleep in the cardboard box it came in. You get genuinely worried because you haven't seen them in an hour, and you find them stuck in a paper bag, looking betrayed by the universe itself. These moments, these ridiculous, perfect, everyday moments, they are medicine for the soul. In a world that takes itself way too seriously, that's constantly demanding your attention and perfection and productivity, your cat is in the bathroom sink, probably not sure how they got there, definitely not caring about your quarterly reports or your social media presence or any of it. Let's shift gears for a minute and talk about something really important, mental health. Because the truth is, a lot of us are struggling. Anxiety, depression, loneliness, these aren't just trending hashtags. They are real battles that millions of people fight every single day. And while cats obviously aren't licensed therapists, they are often the bridge that keeps people going until they can get proper help. There's real research on this. Cat owners statistically have lower rates of heart disease. We handle stress better. We report feeling less isolated. For people dealing with PTSD, autism spectrum disorder, or severe anxiety, cats can be genuinely life-changing. I read about this veteran, came back from Afghanistan with severe PTSD. Couldn't sleep through the night for years. The nightmares were relentless. VA tried different medications, different therapies, nothing really worked. He adopted this cat named Shadow, and Shadow developed this habit. Every time the veteran started having a nightmare, you could tell because he'd start thrashing, breathing hard. Shadow would gently pat his face with her paw. Not scratching, not hard, just this soft, persistent tap 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 until he woke up. She'd do it every single time. She became his anchor to reality. His reminder that he was home, that he was safe. That's not just a pet. That's a partner in survival. Here's something I've noticed over the years: cats have this way of reflecting who we are, or maybe who we need to become. The anxious person learns patience because you absolutely cannot rush a cat. Try it. See what happens. The control freak learns to let go because cats are going to cat regardless of your plans or schedules or preferences. The commitment phobe. Well, good luck, because that cat is now your responsibility for the next 15 to 20 years, and you're about to learn what it means to show up for someone other than yourself, day after day after day. Cats make us better humans. Not by trying, not by training us, just by being exactly who they are. You learn to read subtle body language because cats communicate with their entire body: ears, tail, whiskers, eyes, posture. It's like learning a new language, and once you speak it, you realize how much you've been missing in all your human interactions too. You learn that love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just silent presence at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep. Sometimes it's just being in the same room, doing separate things, but together. You learn that play isn't childish, that curiosity isn't something you grow out of, and that taking 7 naps a day might actually be the secret to happiness that our culture forgot. There's something sacred about the bond between a human and their cat. I don't use that word lightly. Sacred. But when you've been chosen by a cat, When you've earned their trust, when they fall asleep with their paw resting on your hand or their head tucked under your chin, that's sacred. That's pure connection in a disconnected world. We live in this age of screens and notifications, of carefully curated Instagram feeds and parasocial relationships. Everything is filtered, edited, perfected for public consumption. But your cat? They see you. The actual you. The you in 3-day-old sweatpants at 2 in the afternoon on a Sunday. The you who cries during commercials about dogs finding their way home. The you who talks to them like they are people and genuinely waits for a response. And they stay. They choose you. Every single day, they choose you again. You know what cats understand that we've completely forgotten? How to live in the moment. When a cat finds a sunbeam, they are fully, completely, 100% in that sunbeam. They are not thinking about the sunbeam they had yesterday or worrying about whether there will be a sunbeam tomorrow. They are not checking their phone. They are not running through their to-do list. They are just there, soaking it in, eyes closed, utterly content. We need that. Desperately. We need that reminder to be present, to find joy in simple things, to stretch luxuriously when we wake up, to be curious about everything, to play for no reason other than playing feels good, to rest without guilt, to trust our instincts. Here's what I've learned about cat people after all these years: we're not all the same, despite what the stereotypes say. We're introverts and extroverts. We're young and old. We're from every background, every culture, every walk of life you can imagine. But we share something fundamental. We understand that the best relationships aren't about control or ownership. They are about mutual respect. They are about two beings deciding to share space and life together. They are about choice. Every day, your cat could ignore you. And some days they do. But most days, they choose to be near you. They choose to share their life with you. And that choice, that daily renewal of connection, that's everything. So why do cats matter? Why do they become the absolute center of our universe? Because in a world that's constantly changing, constantly demanding, constantly overwhelming, they are a constant. They are home. They are comfort. They are proof that you're worthy of love even when you're not at your best, even when you're struggling, even when you feel like you have nothing to offer. Every cat owner has that moment, that crystal clear moment, where you realize your life is completely different because of this animal. Maybe it's when you cancel plans because your cat is sleeping on your lap and you physically cannot disturb them. Maybe it's when you catch yourself having a full conversation with them about whether you should take the new job. Maybe it's when you're scrolling through your phone and realize half your photos are just them sleeping in increasingly weird positions. Or maybe it's simpler. Maybe it's just coming home after the worst day imaginable, and there they are. Maybe they act like they don't care that you're back. Maybe they just glance at you and go back to grooming. But you know better now. You've learned their language. You see that tiny tail twitch that means, welcome back. You know that evening routine, dinner, a little playtime, then cuddles on the couch, is as important to them as it is to you. You know you're not alone anymore. Here's the truth that every cat owner knows but rarely says out loud: we need them more than they need us. Sure, we provide food and shelter and clean litter boxes and buy those ridiculous toys they'll ignore in favor of a twist tie. But they provide purpose. They provide joy. They provide structure and routine and a reason to be better. A reason to come home. A reason to get up in the morning. A reason to believe that connection is still possible in this isolated, digital age. When you share your life with a cat, you're not just caring for an animal. You're entering into a partnership that will fundamentally change who you are. You'll become more patient because cats cannot be rushed. You'll become more observant because their communication is subtle. You'll become more comfortable with silence. You'll appreciate small moments more, the way the light hits their fur, the sound of that purr, the feeling of tiny paws kneading your leg. You'll become more protective of your peace because your cat has shown you what true contentment looks like. You'll become more willing to play, more forgiving of yourself when you don't land on your feet the first time. And when their time comes, because that's the heartbreaking part of this beautiful bond, you'll be grateful. Devastated, yes. Heartbroken beyond words, absolutely. But grateful. Grateful for every morning head bump that woke you up way too early. Grateful for every kneading session that left your legs numb and full of tiny puncture wounds. Grateful for every 3 a.m. zoomy session that scared you half to death. Grateful for every moment they chose to be near you when they could have been literally anywhere else. Grateful for every lesson they taught you about living, about being present, about love that doesn't demand anything except your genuine presence. So here we are. Millions of us around the world, living lives that somehow revolve around these mysterious, magnificent, ridiculous creatures. We're scheduling our entire days around feeding times. We're decorating our homes with cat trees and scratching posts. We're having full conversations in meows and chirps. We're buying them Christmas presents and birthday treats. We're sitting in uncomfortable positions for hours because they fell asleep on us. And we're loving every single second of it. Because at the end of the day, when everything else is stripped away, we're all just looking for the same things. Connection. Purpose. Something that makes us feel less alone in this wild, beautiful, overwhelming world. And sometimes, that something has 4 legs, a tail, an attitude, and absolutely no respect for your work-from-home meeting schedule. To everyone watching this who has a cat sleeping nearby right now, give them a gentle pet for me. Let them know they are doing a great job at being exactly who they are. To everyone thinking about getting a cat, do it. Your life is about to get infinitely better and slightly more chaotic, and you won't regret a single second. And to everyone who's lost a cat, everyone who's loved and said goodbye, I see you. That love doesn't end. It changes shape, but it never ends. They are still with you in every sunbeam, every soft blanket, every quiet moment. Cats aren't just pets. They are not just animals we share space with. They are family. They are therapists. They are comedians. They are teachers. They are the reason we rush home from work. The reason we smile at nothing. The reason we still believe in magic. Where there's a cat, there's life. Real life. Full life. Beautiful, messy, perfect life. Thanks for watching, everyone. If this resonated with you, if you felt this, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already because we're just getting started. And drop a comment, tell me about your cat. What's their name? How did they choose you? What's the weirdest thing they've ever done? I read every single one, and I genuinely love hearing your stories. Until next time, give your cat an extra treat, take that nap in the sunbeam, and remember, you were chosen for a reason. See you in the next video, cat lovers. Me-o-o-o for now.